Born in the USA. Welcome back.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew that's how you were going to start.
What a great way to start. We have a slightly hungover Connor with us this morning.
Yeah.
Hungover from Monday night or hungover from last night?
It's been a heavy week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a week.
So it's Thursday, and Connor's been out a few times already this week.
It's been a good week.
Working hard. Hospitality weekend. Hey?
This is what happens when I've decided to come away from all the midweek town gigs and just focus on privates on the weekend.
Just focus on booze.
Now I'm like, what am I going to do with all this free time that I've got in the week? And the answer is apparently destroy me body, apparently.
Yeah.
But I had a good time doing it. It's been an awesome week. Yeah.
We had a nice little time on Monday.
We did.
I'm not sure I really remember too much about where we went or what we did, but you had a nice time last night.
I did, yeah.
Seeing Bruce Springsteen at Anfield.
I did. It was unbelievable. Yeah. Okay. It started a bit of a horror story, right? Let me get into this because I don't want to, lose them as a potential sponsor in 10 years, but I hate Ticketmaster, let me tell you. They are the worst company in the world. And I'm sure most artists would agree if they actually could, if
they had another choice.
Yeah, exactly. But the reason being is because, so we got tickets, we went, right? Now, I bought side view tickets, right? That's fine. Now, obviously, you get obstructed view and you get unobstructed view and whatever, right? These were not obstructed view tickets. They were just standard side view tickets, right?
Didn't say obstructed anywhere.
No, there was obstructed tickets that were cheaper.
Thing is, the way they do it in stadiums and stuff is they put the stage like where one of the goals is, right, on the pitch.
Yeah.
And people stand on the pitch and then they fill the sort of 3/4 of the rest of it.
Exactly. That's exactly how it was done, yeah.
But often they still sell the side stage tickets.
Right, yeah.
But they get pushed further and further behind the stage, who actually, behind it.
The thing is that we were actually, in terms of the way the seating was, it was actually fine. Like, we were on line with the front of the stage where you could technically see him. But
I think that's probably the last limit of what's okay. You don't want to see the back of his head.
But we couldn't see him because where they hung the speaker line arrays, right, was literally hanging, blocking him, right? So all we could see was this pedal board. Literally, that was it. And we were just sat there no, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
So luckily, pulled a few strings because, as you know,
people,
I've worked in Anfield a few times and I know the head steward who just happened to be the head steward that we bumped into by sheer coincidence. And I've had quite a few conversations with him, don't know him, oh, you're all right, mate, but I know him,
He would recognise you. You might be able to pull a little favour.
So I literally explained to him who I was and was like...
Don't you know who I am? I'm Roddy Pickering!
No, I literally said, I play, you know what I mean, for the games and stuff.
Play
and he was
right back.
Yeah, I know you are. I was like, I'm replacing Trent. Anyway, but yeah, I was like, and explained to him who I was, and he was like, yeah. He was like, he said, listen, I really understand. It was like, it's Ticketmaster's fault. This, he said, because essentially we have no governance over the seats. Essentially, Ticketmaster hire the whole arena out,
and they decide themselves what's what's
stadium. And they basically decide the seating plans and stuff. He was like, we're having a nightmare with this. He said, I've had quite a few people come to me just saying that they're just not happy. And it's not like these tickets were cheap. You know what I mean?
Let me just do me fly up, by the way. That's a good start.
They were £100 a ticket.
Yeah, it's not cheap. To be fair, for that level of artist.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows who he is. Apparently, that's another point.
I know.
When your missus doesn't know who Bruce Springsteen is.
She was more concerned about moaning about the fact that the buses weren't running properly, about who Bruce... I was like, how do you not know who Bruce Springsteen is? What is the world coming to? Everybody needs to drunkenly scream the words to Born to Run once in their life, they've got it.
Well, she couldn't get the bus, so maybe she was also born to run.
Born to walk home. Anyway, but yeah, so So anyway,
Decent bit of money. You knew a steward. You were side stage.
So we obviously spoke to the head steward, and he was like, "Look," he was like, "I'm not bothered." He was like, "If you want to go and have a walk around the stadium and there's some empty seats,
Find some seats, yeah.
just go and sit there." He was like, "Explain to the stewards that are on the, at the top
section
of the
or whatever,
section." Yeah. He was like, "Just explain the situation. Say that I've said it's fine." So then we did the walkabouts, and we spoke to a couple of stewards, and we spoke to a guy, and he was like, He was like, I remember specifically like row 88. See, so my memory's not that bad of last night. I can remember. And he said row 88. He was like, he said, there's a big line of seats that haven't got anyone in. No one's turned up. He was like, there's about like 5-6 seats in the row. So we went up and we sat there, and not only did we have much better view of the whole front of the stage, but also we had no one next to us. So it was like a free upgrade on a flight. We were like, yes. So it ended up like we only missed, I think, the first 3-4 songs, which 3-hour concert, which is just unreal, by the way. 3 hours, like.
So yeah, 3 hours. I like Bruce Springsteen. I love some of his tunes. I know 20 minutes of Bruce Springsteen, 30 minutes of Bruce Springsteen.
It flies over, like literally, like you. I was looking at the phone like, oh, it's been
How's this
2 hours.
Yeah.
Like it flies because I think I sent this maybe drunkenly in a voice message last night to the group, but that E Street band, man, that's
unreal.
That's the secret sauce. Yeah. Like there's Bruce Springsteen, and he's amazing, and I'm a massive fan of the songs and stuff. But that band is why they're where they are. Like they are. It's like just an unbelievable sound. Like
it's one of the guys from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Little Steven
on the guitar. Yeah.
Little Steven.
And the guy who plays the saxophone, man. Oh my god! Like it got to the point where the saxophone solos had a better response than the guitar solos. Yeah. It's the unspoken hero.
Yeah, well, it's why Sam Fender does it, isn't it? Because he's obviously so influenced by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Like it made honestly, like to the point where I was saying last night, I was like, do you know what? If I ever put together a wedding band, you can't not have a saxophone in it. Like you've got to have a saxophone.
Well, we know a sax player.
We do,
and we might be getting him on the podcast at some point soon. Our Joe Reeve.
Unbelievable. That would be insane. Because honestly, last night, if I remember the main things, I remember 2 main things. First was, like I say, one of my all-time bucket list things getting ticked off is Born to Run. Long story short, one of like my biggest mentors in music growing up, like a guy called Andy, is a friend of my dad's. And he like really helped me in the beginning with just like music and stuff. And he was a massive Bruce Springsteen fan, like through and through. And like Born to Run was like his song, know, like his favorite song. And
that was like a nice little nod to your younger self.
Like unfortunately, like he died of COVID like a couple of years ago. So like I think me and my dad at the concert were just both like
having a little moment,
and then we had a little like this is for him,
a little teary moment
sort of thing. Yeah. So that like it was just an insane night, to be honest. And
3 hours, he's 75.
They put the floodlights on because they wanted them to go home. Right, they need them to stop because it was nearly past the curfew.
Well, they flashed the lights on?
No, not flash. Like they put all the floods on. Like go up, like leave. Like literally, put all the floodlights on, and then he literally was saying down the mic, he was like,
I'm not fucking leaving.
He was like, I'm not going. He was like, I don't want to go home yet. Do you want to go home? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, we'll keep playing then. And he just kept playing, and it was like, who's going to turn Bruce Springsteen off? I wouldn't want to be the guy.
That would be
switch.
such a big story if he's playing at Anfield and he got like the lights switched off on him, and the
but
amp
apparently
switched off
it's
on him.
like commonplace. Like he does it everywhere.
I think it's also become. It's almost become like a kind of joke of how long he plays for.
100%. But like, if you think about it, right? If you get to 75, you would think most acts just want the money. They get up, they do like their perfect hour and a half, and they're like, right, bye, and they get off to just keep playing like that. And he clearly doesn't like. There's no click track because he's got no in-ears, right? No click track. Everything's no in-ears. Everything's wedges. So he's got wedges at the front. He's got wedges at the side of the stage. Wedges down the little
wherever he
thing.
walks. Yeah.
Like literally everywhere. It's just like just proper. Like everyone's just going off his cue.
Real music.
You know what I mean? And there's no back and click thing with 50,000 synths on, playing behind them. Like everything is just live and real, and you cannot beat that in terms of sound for me. No. Everything getting played live, even the keyboard. They had like 2 keyboard players, I guess, or maybe more. Someone on the Hammond organ and stuff, and it was just to hear a band that big. It's the biggest band I've ever heard, I guess.
Yeah. It was probably 15, 20.
I was laughing with my dad saying at the stage, like that the stage with the band on was bigger than Eric's, where I play on a Tuesday. And I was like, that's the whole bar, just the stage.
And you use backing tracks, so...
well...
Once you've looped something round once, it becomes a backing track, right?
It's funny, because I want to... Actually, while we're on this subject, I want to tackle 2 things with you, which are interesting things to talk about, actually. First of all, a quick one. Mobile phones at concerts.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious and a bit hacky to be like, oh, when are you ever going to watch that video back? You should live in the moment, da-da-da-da-da. I think everyone gets 90 seconds of filming, and then that's it. Yeah. So you get to film your favourite song or whatever it is. Just like the intro, and be like, oh, the moment that everyone realises what song it is, and they get a cheer or whatever.
Because people can say, oh, like you can just view anyone's video on YouTube, but it feels like it's your video when you know
it's
that
a bit of like
it.
Free souvenir, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's your way of remembering that you were actually there at one point. But people who film, like, it's such an obvious thing to say. People who are there with their phone the whole time, like, how much can you really be in the gig? And you're also like affecting people behind you. Like, my favourite thing is when people try and take a photo of a stage and they're like 200 yards away, they got the flash on.
I know.
Who are you lighting up with the flash at the back of someone's head in front of you? Wait, let me just illuminate Bruce Springsteen with all those professional lights on stage, but my iPhone light from 200 yards away is going to be there.
But one thing I love is the whole phone torch thing.
Yeah.
But
that's just insane. Lighters from back in the day, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But I think because phone torches are a lot brighter.
It's LED.
It's LED. Like, it just looks insane. Like, one of my favourite concerts, visual-wise, I've been to was Coldplay, because those bands...
Yeah, that's more of like a show performance.
I went to see them at Wembley, and just to see Wembley, just the bowl just lit up like that, it was like...
Because they do the light-up wristbands, don't they? And they all like sync together and like flow between colours and stuff.
Yeah, so they have like...
it's by sections. They use the crowd as like a lighting rig,
it's
don't they?
It's not even sections. What they actually have is, which is insane. So they have these essentially like laser things built on the stage, and they shoot infrared lasers at the bands, so they can individually light up individual bands that get hit by the infrared lasers. So they can draw, like, so at the concert they drew a heart on the crowd and stuff. It's just insane.
I guess it's kind of like using each individual person as one pixel on a screen.
Yeah. Literally, that's exactly how they work it. And so it's like they literally can just aim and target groups of people and move the lights, and it's just the way they do it.
You write Coldplay as shit in the crowd.
Yeah, it was a good gig.
I don't mean that. I'm one of those cringy people that's like, oh, don't listen to the recent Coldplay, but the first 3 albums.
Mate. Rush of blood to the head and stuff, man. Unbelievable. My second concert thing. So that was my first one. I was going to say to you.
Phones, not good for filming, fine for using your torch as a little moment of togetherness.
100%. Yeah. Second one was like the merch thing, right? Because, mate, yesterday at Bruce.
Okay.
45 quid for a t-shirt. 45 quid.
Because then they're band t-shirts, right? Again, I know
I like it. You're supporting the act, but then when you're paying £100 a ticket,
how's
how
that
much
not
support do they
Yeah,
need?
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I mean,
and the t-shirts. I mean, they might not be Fruit of the Loom. They might be one step up from Fruit of the Loom, but they're still generally pretty shit quality.
oh yeah, they
Like
wash
merch
twice.
merch t-shirts. I think hoodies and stuff may be a little bit better, but then the hoodies will be like 80, 90 quid.
Yeah,
And then there'll be a guy outside waiting by the traffic lights who's got them all knockoff ones
15 quid. And like we were laughing yesterday, saying
better design,
they're
doesn't
probably
it?
from the same place. Yeah. Like they're probably manufactured in the same place. Like it's just one of them's official, and they've rented out the van outside or whatever to sell them. £45, man. Like it's insane.
I think it's difficult because I think for smaller acts, the economy of touring doesn't make sense unless you can make a big chunk of your money up through selling merch.
I think so.
I don't even think selling tickets now covers
it's
touring for
because-
bands. They have to sell merch at a like jacked up price.
I think it's because the Spotify thing, nobody's making money off the records anymore because of streaming. So it's like, well, that's where they make their money, is anything live. So merch, you know, tickets and that. But is it reaching a point where concerts are becoming quite inaccessible for a lot of people? Because like even the food and drink now, don't get me wrong, like from what I know, you can take food and drink into Anfield, I believe.
If you know the right stewards.
No, I actually think the policy
If you go,
is you can.
you know, don't you know who I am?
I don't know, because my dad took his food and drinking, but then he is diabetic and has a letter that
There you
lets
go.
him. So I don't know whether the normal policy is you're allowed. It may be that you are.
I imagine you're not allowed to bring anything
Maybe
into
not.
most of those gigs.
But like, then it begs the question, like £7.50 a pint. You know,
it's like the footy games though. If you go to a match at Anfield, it's the same.
I know,
the same offering.
But it's the same issue with the footy games. Is it becoming not very accessible? You know,
100%.
Like, it used to be like go down on you know, on a Sunday, like, or whatever, and watch the game, like, and everyone would go down and, you know, get something to eat, go and watch the game. It's a boss Sunday out. Now it's like you've got to plan it months in advance because you've got to save money to do it.
Well, yeah, I think like in my head, go and see some of those bigger legacy bands. Something from when we were maybe, I don't know, 15 or something. Seeing a big band would have been a ticket of like 50 quid.
Yep.
Something like that for the actual concert ticket. And then I know obviously that's 10, 15 years ago now. And the world has changed, but
significantly.
To think that just for one person to go to that gig, and it's not unreasonable to think, I might want to go to this gig, I might want to buy a band t-shirt, and I might want to buy a pint and a bit of food.
Yeah.
That could be 200 quid now. And that is insane.
Well, I was pricing it up yesterday, so 100 quid a ticket, right? And then you go, okay, I want to get a t-shirt, 45 quid, right? So you're on 150 quid already.
You've got to get there. You've got to get home.
You've got to get there, get home. Luckily, I didn't have to, because I've got family who literally live 2 streets away from Anfield, so they let me park. So I'm lucky in that sense. But most people, then you've got to pay for parking. God knows what those car parks around Anfield charge. I don't even want to think about that. Or you have to get a taxi or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then buy food and drink. Just one person is like 200 quid now for a concert, which is just insane for like.
And actually, Bruce
2-3
Springsteen,
hours.
100 quid, probably on the cheaper side of a ticket for the big name artists. If you think that Taylor
100%.
Swift's played there and
100%. Yeah, I mean, there was obviously much more expensive tickets for that gig that I didn't get, but like.
I guess even for that gig, but even for that artist, like there's going to be other art. Like I don't know about the Taylor Swift tickets because I've heard sort of horror stories about like grands for tickets and stuff.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know how she allows that. Like, I mean,
they'll all play slightly dumb and be like, "Oh, we don't dictate the ticket pricing." It's like I
love the way that they say now as well. Oh, it has to be your name on the ticket, and we will ID you. And then you get to the door, and
no one
no,
cares.
they don't.
Yeah,
when I went to go and see Sam Fender in Liverpool a couple of years ago, my name was like,
Georgina.
John, bloody, like, blah, whatever, because I ended up buying the ticket on the day off someone, because I wasn't going to go, and then somebody that I knew
Last
was,
minute
like,
was like,
selling
yeah,
it.
that's it.
You know, but you can tell, even, like, from seeing that last night, like, they don't have enough staff to be able to ID every person.
Yeah,
like, they wouldn't make any money if they employed that many people, you know? So, as I say, it's very... Concerts, man, is a crazy thing, and I love them, but I also hate them because I think they can give music a bad name.
Yeah, it's blown so much out of proportion, and that is...
It's the corporate suit. It used to
but
be...
it's also the Spotify thing.
Yeah.
Like, if people made money selling albums, they wouldn't have to hike everything else around touring to make the money back. I think that holds true for smaller to mid-sized bands. I think when you're a legacy band, 100%. A lot of it is just basically like trying to get as much dollar in as possible. I'm not sure the economy is the same for I guess a bigger band has a bigger tour group, and you know, the band, the E Street Band, how many people that is, how many people you're going to take around the world and stuff.
I can't even imagine what it's like to take that rig around it with that many people.
Yeah.
What an absolute, like, sort of job it must be, you know, for that.
Figuring out the logistics of getting all that around the world.
The one thing, I know that you're going to laugh at me now because I'm going to bring up Ed Sheeran, but he's not
You've got your new tattoo,
he's not the only person.
It's got X, plus, minus, divide, divide and conquer.
Okay. No, but the one thing I will say is that when I seen Ed Sheeran in Manchester, they had the stage in the middle of the pitch. That to me just makes so much more sense because you can see no matter where you are.
Yeah, there's no obstruction. It makes sense for him because he's solo.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like circular moving stage, and I just thought the stage design of it was genius.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's not the first person to do that. U2 and everyone have done,
and we talked,
done this before.
I think we talked on another episode about the Foo Fighters at Wembley gig. Yeah. When they're right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the sickest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, mate, the entire concert was insane. Yeah. But yeah, as I say, like, that is probably stage design-wise the best I've seen was Ed Sheeran's. I was on a huge debate yesterday, actually, with this about my dad because he was saying that him using the loop station is backing tracks. Is it backing tracks? Is using a loop station backing tracks?
We've had, I'm sure we've both had this a million times where people don't understand what's happening with the loop. And I think it's more of a common understanding now because of all the Ed Sheeran stuff and because there's loads of videos of people playing. A lot more musicians out there are using loop stations and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I guess a few years ago and still true today, you still get people being like, how do you get the sound that you get or whatever? And I think a lot of people can still assume that there's some other...
I've had sections, which I know you do, where I've looped some chords around to go and have a drink, right? And when I do it... People go, like, I've seen guys saying to his wife, look, he's not even playing. Like, he's miming the gig. It's like, come on, mate, really? Like, you know, you must...
We should know by now.
However...
It's how you use it. It's how you use it.
However, I will say, I'm going to have a bit of a caveat here with the Ed Sheeran thing, is that he says on his gig...
he has like a little intro. If you've not seen me play live, I do this, and I go
like,
boom.
Nothing. He says like nothing here is pre-recorded, right? That's what he says. There's no backing tracks. Nothing's pre-recorded. That is bull. Because
there's like synth lines that play over the top of stuff, and I'm like, he's not playing the synth.
If you see on phone videos, right now, everything he plays, guitar wise and stuff, I guess is
Okay, so we're going to do a little clip here of Ed Sheeran as a fraud.
I have seen him because I know he has this little synthesizer at the side of the stage, but I've seen him stand on a pedal. And when he stands on it, it triggers like sort of all these spacey synthy things in the background. What I think he is doing is he's triggering
Sampling.
MIDI.
It's sampling.
It's literally a MIDI controller, and he's triggering like Ableton or something backstage. That's what he's essentially doing. Now, I'm sure that what he's doing is live, and I've seen various things where he's like messes up and things. I'm not saying that it's like fake. It is 100% live, but I'm saying there's other textural elements weaved in there to make it sound big.
Everyone does that though. I think that the problem people have with backing tracks is when someone's miming and the thing that they're miming is being played out somewhere else
100%.
or doubling or whatever.
Yeah. I think so.
It's that thing about
There's a lot at that Radio 1 big weekend you went to of that. A lot of that going on, man, where like you see the artist and they'll pull away from the mic to say like something, and this vocal will carry on, and and mate, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Some would argue that when you're at that level, you've got to preserve your
show
voice
and a performance rather than like the live reciting of stuff.
But no, because when you see people like Bruce Springsteen at 75
still
singing live for 3 hours, you, another up-and-coming star at like 21 years old, is telling me they can't sing a gig for like 40 minutes.
But if their song doesn't sound exactly like the song that got famous on TikTok, then people aren't going to like them, Connor.
Because the problem is the song, when they produce the songs now, they don't care if it can be replicated live. They just go, oh, throw a stack of 12 vocals on there.
Or stuff that's like sped up, slowed down, and it's not the vocal anyways.
But I guess that's just me being picky. But when I see a band, that's why I love Sam Fender, man.
Yeah, it's all live. Well, to be fair, Sam Fender at Radio on Big Weekend, he was sound.
But
it's
they
live. Were having.
Yeah, it's live because his guitar kept falling off every 2 seconds.
That is the beauty of live music. Is that the magic is that you keep this whole thing together. On the edge of falling apart.
It's control chaos.
Exactly. And that's the thing about like live vocals when someone's ripping it.
Yeah.
It's because it's just on the edge of falling apart. Like if someone's screaming live.
Yeah.
Or like shredding a solo live. Some of the grit is like it's just about to fall apart, but they're keeping it together, and that's the magic of it.
100%. I think so. And the magic of me at a big concert is knowing that Sam Fender or whatever has actually sung that to me live. That is him singing.
And the beauty of all those things is like the little
ad
ad-libs, the little variations, the little like shouts in the middle, the kind of like, I don't know, joking something local in the middle of something
100%.
or...
Yeah. That's it. What would you say is the best concert you've been to?
In what respect? Like live performance or...
Like all time, like memory-wise, like the
things
best
I get
memory.
drunk at most of the gigs.
Yeah, well, we know this. Can you remember any of them?
I think I've been to a couple of gigs at some point. I can't really remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I saw Arctic Monkeys when what album had just Humbug had just come out.
Okay.
In Liverpool.
Nice.
At the Echo. That was pretty sick because that was like, I don't know, I don't think Arctic Monkeys had gone like, they were obviously massive, but they hadn't had like the level of AM fame and stuff yet. So I think it was like people who really, really
the best sort of days,
hardcore ones, yeah. Saw Sam Fender in Gorilla in Manchester when he just won the Mercury Music Prize. And I think I said this to you on another podcast. I was shouting at people in the crowd because they were talking while he was doing like an intimate moment of a song, and they were like chatting in front of me. And I was like, I honestly had to stop myself from slapping them in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That was pretty special. Paolo Nutini in Edinburgh, Hogmanay. Nice. Right, so Paolo Nutini, there is a poster there on my wall with the lightning seed supporting.
Yeah.
What year was it? 2016. Mm-hmm. Okay, 2016, Hogmanay in Edinburgh.
Right.
Me and Alex watching Paolo Nutini singing Dancing in the Dark on New Year's Eve, did a cover of it. And it was just like, that might be the best live thing I've ever seen. Proper transcendental moment, that.
I'd love to see Iron Sky live, man.
Yeah, saw Iron Sky live. That one.
That's insane.
Yeah, baby.
Insane. Wait, does he have the
Charlie
audio?
Chaplin.
Yeah. So they have the...
But that's a backing track, right? He hasn't got Charlie Chaplin on stage.
I mean, I'd be impressed if he did.
Just wheels him out.
That's worth a
Weekend
£100.
at Bernie's style. All right. I think that is a lovely place to take a little break and try 100%. And recompose ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. Please remember to go and follow us online, TikTok, Instagram, all those places. Like and comment on this. You can book us for any private parties, events, weddings, whatever it is. Drop us a message on our socials. Come see us live. We're playing every weekend around the Northwest. Let's get back into the episode. Yep.
Hello. Welcome back. We are going to do some questions shortly. But first, I wanted to just ask you a question.
Oh, God.
How do you feel when people, turn you down mid-set?
I think I've got PTSD from when...
Not referencing any in particular.
Nothing in particular. I think I've got PTSD from growing up as a kid, learning guitar, and obviously if you're playing electric guitar, it sounds like shite if you don't play it through an amp, unless you maybe put headphones on or whatever. But you want to feel the sound in the room, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you play an amp. And my mum and dad telling me to turn it down. I think I prang a lot from that, but also from the sort of like position of maybe feeling that I'd got an idea about how to run a room and stuff a little bit more than some other people.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't. How do you deal with it if you're playing in a venue?
I don't. I just turn myself back up.
You do so they walk away, and then you do it back up again.
It's difficult, but my way of looking at it is look at your Instagram, right? Do I look at your Instagram and go, this guy is going to be great for my chilled... No, I don't. Like, I look at your Instagram and I think, party, dancing, you know what you're getting, right? Hopefully it's a similar thing with mine, my kind of, first couple of pin posts, everyone up dancing, singing. You know what you're getting when you book. You book someone like our dear friend Danny Jones, who's an avid listener to the podcast. And you also...
Danny, get a random shout out there, mate. He is the quintessential lovely chill performer.
Oh, mate, yeah. He's the type of thing that you put on
sultry,
like,
dulcet.
With some rain music in the background just to like chill out,
So you're saying if you listen to Danny Jones, it makes you want to fall asleep? Is that what you're saying? That's what Connor's saying.
No, I'm not saying fall asleep, but it chills you, It's perfect. Like, it's exactly what a lot of people are looking for weddings and that kind of thing,
That's why he's a very busy boy doing exactly that.
And he plays into it, and he does a very good job of it, and I wish that I could have that kind of easy it's definitely not easy.
All right, okay, so Connor said he wasn't going to incriminate himself.
I'm not saying easy. Oh, God.
Easy listening.
We will address
I'll save you easy listening.
Yeah, easy listening.
There you go. Exactly. Not easy
listening.
Not
easy, but he's not, although he is incorporating the stomp recently, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's going for it.
He's going for it, man.
I remember we put a maraca in his back pocket or something at a Claremont. Sorry, Danny, mate. You're getting a little bit more spotlight than you might have thought.
He's going to get payback when he's on the podcast.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
So he's coming in next week. We might have to tell him that we were talking about him this week.
Oh, I'm sure he'll know. If he doesn't know, then...
The thing is, this won't have come out by the time we've spoken to him.
Well, it'll come out the day before.
Is it going to be this one?
Yeah, it's going to be this one.
Okay, well, he will find out quickly on his way over here if he listens to this one.
He's like, I've changed my mind, I'm not doing it now. No, but what I'm saying is that everybody's a little bit different, and obviously...
People have their niche, their
100%.
lane, all that kind of stuff. And for me, that's actually something I've been really conscious of, because to do the heavy, loud party set and not be in the middle of town all the time, those windows of opportunity where that's appropriate are a lot narrower than the chilled sets, right?
100%.
So I'm playing Elephant tonight, and Elephant is a really nice kind of cafe pub, goes into a bar sort of later on thing, right? But going in there and cranking it to 11 and full stomping from the off, it's just completely inappropriate.
100%.
That's not what people want. That's not what people expect.
That's why Danny Jones goes down so well. See, I've saved myself.
There you go.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I have seen a couple of clips of him playing actually, and he storms the place, and they're like, he's really,
perfect
really
for
good.
it, right?
Perfect for
and actually, for me, I'm way more comfortable. With the expectation of getting people up and like ripping the shirts off and going party, right?
Yeah, fist pumping.
For me to bring it back and contain that a little bit and sit in the more musicality versus kind of like exuberance side of things.
Yep.
I find that hard.
100%.
That's not my natural comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something I work on. I'm
Yeah,
trying
like,
to work.
I can't see you getting booked from any massage parlours, like, in the background or something.
What have you been played for? Booked a few massage
Listen,
parlours?
I've done some crazy gigs. Anyway, my point
Wasn't there a gig going round at a swingers place?
Have
you heard about
this?
this?
Man. Yeah, in the
Is it Birkenhead?
Can I name the place? I don't know.
I think people... Is it
Yeah.
Because of the
Yeah. There was.
So we're in a few musicians group chats,
I got offered
right?
that gig as well.
And you get, okay, there's a wine bar in Crosby, or there's a this here, and there was I can't remember who it was who was talking about this, but we know someone who's played that gig.
Oh, 100%.
And I think
it was a great gig.
Oh God, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like I remember someone telling me that they got booked to do a gig at that place.
Yeah.
You get picked up by a taxi, because I don't think it's necessarily like on Google Maps. But he was also picking up a couple of other people, and they like stopped at a little shop to get some like Lucozade.
Lucas.
Because of the night that they had ahead of them, they were going to need some electrolytes at some point.
What's like
What you play? What's the set list at
Let's
Swingers?
get it on. Yeah, I don't know. No, but like what I'm saying is, are you playing? Wow.
People are bumming in the corner. What you play?
Oh, I couldn't do it, man. I could
Okay,
not.
let's try and come up with a 5-song set list to play in a swingers gaff. This episode's going to have to be put as explicit.
Oh,
as well.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
come on. There's got to be a few.
Well, Marvin Gaye is the go-to.
Yeah, but okay, so that's like sensual.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like pumping songs. It can't be
Well,
all just like romantic lovey-dovey. You've got to
so
like
you
give
like
it some
fist pumping like at the swingers. I mean, Seven Nation Army or something, you know. I mean, it's not easy, is it? Honestly, I would love to know what the person did play. Like, it's crazy.
Who do you think would go down better there, me or
Danny
Danny
Jones.
Jones?
He's gonna kill me.
He's that's not his
That's
wheelhouse,
what I mean.
shall we say?
That's what I mean.
But that is mad. There's a gig going
Where's
in
this
a
like?
swingers gaff. What do you do? Is there a stage? Is there a bar that's separate that's not any of those kind of rooms?
Yeah, there's got to be. I mean,
or are you in the middle of it?
I think there's like a common area. That I'm not saying a no. I just want to point that out. But I think in these kind of establishments, there's a common area which is like respectful or whatever for people. And I think there's like
people
private
go off into
rooms. There's got to be. I think.
What beers do they have on tap, Connor?
If you've ever.
From your personal experience,
I don't know, no idea. Hopefully Guinness. Anyway, if you've ever been to said thing, feel free to
let
write
us know
in.
what the
Let us know what the setup is.
Leave a comment of your 5-song set list that you would play in a swingers gaff. Clip it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We could end up losing more work off the back of doing this than gaining more work, I think.
Yeah, it's like
this podcast could be the end of it.
I've lost all my weddings, but I'm now the most in demand musician for every naturist.
It's swinging Motown, isn't it? Swinging Motown in the swingers? No, okay, all right. We'll leave that one there.
Well, did we go from talking about Bruce Springsteen to like seedy gigs and swingers gaffs?
Because we touch on all aspects of the music industry.
That's
from
not
the
a good
top to the bottom.
sentence in the swinger section.
We touch on all aspects.
Yeah. Okay. But I think Carlos would go down well.
I try. Yeah. Bumbaleo. La Bumba.
No. Yeah.
No, I was going to say another one, but I think my mum might listen to this. I think I can say what I was going to say. I'll tell you afterwards. It starts with Macarena and ends in something else.
Well,
I'll let your mind fill in.
We are looking for some podcast sponsors if the establishment wants to.
Well, it's going to be Love Honey, isn't it? That's going to be the sponsor that we need to get. All the sex toys and that.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
So that's fun. Do you want to do some questions? A quick, heavy segue away from a slightly perilous snake.
I'm sorry that Danny Jones has to be associated with that section. We'll find something better to talk about.
We love a bit of contrast in life, don't we?
100%, yeah. We've just lost half our guests now. The Mac Bros are like, fuck that. We're not going near that. Anyway, right. Okay, first question. First question.
So, all right, to preface this a little bit, please drop some questions in. Anything you want to ask us, any suggestions, any funny experiences yourself, either as a musician from a gig or as a punter at a gig, funny stuff that's happened.
We did have one question from Brackley that
you can't read out.
I can't read.
Maybe when we get to Patreon episodes, we can do the sort of one more tune after dark.
Yeah, it'd have to be marked with 2 explicit things if I read Brackley's questions. Right. Okay, so first question. Is there a song that when it plays, you know it's time to make bad life choices?
So I don't know. I don't really have any. The only ones I can think of is the heavy rave tunes. But
yeah,
we're going back to the swingers set list again there, aren't we?
For me, it's the unfortunate. The thing is, right, it's that nostalgic thing, and when nostalgia hits you, it's like
something that reminds you of going back to when you were 17 or whatever.
Yeah, so you lose your responsibility because you don't feel like an adult.
Mine would be some of the tunes that I don't know if I necessarily. It's not really stuff that I've incorporated into my set. Not saying that I wouldn't do, but some of the stuff that maybe reminds me of being in bars or something. Is it Flow Rider Wild Ones? That's one I remember. I remember that one.
So anything around 2012-esque, right, for me.
Because that's 17 bars, for me.
Yeah, so that's for me, that's peak. So anything sort of around the era of sort of Starships, Nicki Minaj, that kind of era, you know what I mean? What else come out around that time? Super Bass. And then you had I'm trying to think, Flow Rider, Whistle and Good Feeling and
Timber,
all that kind
Kesha.
Oh, Pitbull, man, Pitbull. Well, we've mentioned Pitbull on the Serious Music podcast.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide. If you've ever been through hard times, don't worry. He's been there, done that.
I keep telling Carlos he should learn some Pitbull songs.
Oh, go down so well.
Shave his hair, put on some sunglasses. All he has to do...
Carlos being like, baby, I'm a fireball.
Yeah, and I want him to come to the Claremont events. And he needs to introduce it going, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
And I bring his in.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good, man. In the height of summer in Claremont. That's what we need.
I can see it already.
The mariachi band coming behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, that kind of answers that question.
Yeah. Guess. Obviously, all encompassing.
Okay.
Next question.
What do you think Mozart would think of TikTok and TikTok dances? And
okay,
kind of thing.
I think all of those composers back in the day were also they had to be masters of marketing and advertising and all that kind of stuff. So I think, in theory, they would absolutely fucking love it. I think they would love it.
What? So hang on. So you're saying
I honestly think
they'd be like, "Hey guys, you just composed this new.
Here's Wolfgang here. Like and subscribe." I think they love it. They were masters of marketing. The whole point. Some of those composers was deliberately to shock the audience. There was like I can't remember what it is. Someone more intelligent than me will comment it. But there's a piece of music. I think it's Tchaikovsky maybe.
Okay.
And there's a cannon that goes off in it. So if there was anyone asleep in the audience, it wake them back up. There's a cannon in it.
Oh, we need to get Danny Jones on.
Get Danny Jones a cannon.
Yeah.
Can we get a cannon sample on your SPD just in case you're playing at an 80th birthday party and one of the guests has fallen asleep in the corner?
100%.
There was also another one, Rite of Spring, maybe.
Right.
Where people were like so disgusted by it, and it was so like rock and roll for the time that there was like a riot at the first performance of it. So there is a lot of things. You might think that classical music was very fusty and dusty and boring and old.
Yeah, I get the marketing thing, but what I'm saying is, specifically, what would he think of like these like dance trends and all this, stuff?
I honestly think they'd love it. Anything to get the music out there more.
Right, okay.
Maybe not the answer you expected, but a genuinely considered opinion. What do you think?
I honestly, I don't think...
You don't care.
I don't think Mozart would be Mozart in, like, today's age, in the sense of,
But that was the pop music of the time.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I guess.
That was the most, like, spread, most... They were the TikTok trending piece.
You're probably right, but I think if Mozart was born now, he wouldn't be Mozart because he'd be a different person because the whole of the world is different.
Crypto, wasn't he? Mozart coin.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Well, okay. Moving swiftly on. Right, hang on. Okay. I already have an idea of what you're going to say.
Oh, God.
What's the first song that comes to mind when I say, what song makes you want to throw your phone in the ocean?
Interesting phrasing of a question.
It is.
I think the obvious answer would be to say something like Wonderwall, just because I think we should have a merch line at some point that just says "Play Wonderwall."
Yeah,
I would love us to have some
one
more tune t-shirts just said "Play Wonderwall."
But you say this, but
I'm coming back around. I
play Wonderwall in my set.
You would.
It goes down so well. Like, why are you gonna I wouldn't listen to it. I wouldn't listen to it in my own time because I hear it that much. But
I think I might shoot myself in the foot with some people who've listened to me in the past. But Jamie Webster,
oh mate, 100%.
No hate, no shade. Understand why people like it, why it works, all that kind of stuff. It still fits in the Jerry Cinnamon wheelhouse. All of that.
I get it.
Big Red. I'm not a Big Red.
Yeah, I get it. I actually really like Jamie Webster when he came out. I don't now because he's my most requested thing. When anyone hears
the Scouse anthems, isn't it, on the weekend?
Jamie Webster, Johnny. It's like there's more to the modern music in this city. You know how many times have I been asked to play the Wombats? Never. You know what I mean?
Or like Red Rum Club, or
but do you know any Jamie Webster? Because you've got a stomp. It's probably because I got the stomp. So they associate the stomp with Webster, don't they?
Yeah, and you're wearing Liverpool shirts at every gig, and
it's that whole do you know any Jamie Cinnamon?
Jamie Cinnamon?
Honestly, do you know the amount of times that I've been asked? Do you know any Jamie Cinnamon? Do you know any Jerry Webster?
Yeah.
No, what? You don't even know what the act is. You just
Mr. Brightside by Coldplay and all that, and.
Mate, it's just...
They are golden moments though, because you just in your head, you just go, tasty. These little mini morsels of life where you just it's all a joke really, isn't it? It's all a laugh. Don't take it all so seriously.
Next question.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. First thing, it's just come up on my phone is that you're basically putting me to shame.
I am.
Strava in the running app. It's like, Harry Smithers just did this.
Yeah.
You're lazy. Why aren't you doing this? Mm-hmm. It's basically all that happens when I turn
Things I run and you try and keep up.
Yeah, basically.
That's basically what this podcast is.
Okay, which musicians, dead or alive, would you invite to a dinner party and why?
Well, Mozart, because he'd be doing loads of TikTok dances and stuff. How many? Okay, let's say you got 3.
3, yeah, we'll go with 3.
Okay, Paolo, just because Paolo has kind of been Paolo Nutini's been one of my favorite artists for a very long time.
Benson Boone?
No, he'd already be there because I'd be there. You've never seen Benson Boone and me in the same room at the same time.
That's true.
I am also Batman because you haven't seen me and Batman in the same room at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, Paul McCartney, just because of local history and like.
Okay. Yeah. Get that.
And then probably pick someone dead because it's more interesting.
Okay.
What's his name? Is it Robert Johnson?
I got it. You want to choose this guy to come to your dinner, but you don't even know his name.
Well, okay, all right. I've got 2. One's a very esoteric, like musicians trying to be cool answer, and one's I guess they both are. Robert Johnson was the guy who apparently sold his soul to the devil to be able to play guitar.
Oh yeah,
that guy.
Ask
him that question. That's a good dinner story. That
100%.
What actually happened?
Yeah,
that would be a good one.
Okay.
And what was it going to... Oh, the other one, Django Reinhardt. If you've ever heard of Django Reinhardt, he's jazz guitar player from like the 20s, 30s in France. And he was in a house fire. He got famous playing guitar, was in a house fire, burnt all his hands, had 2 fingers left on his left hand.
Right.
If you play guitar, having more than 2 fingers on your left hand is probably useful. He had to relearn. And jazz guitar is...
not easy.
Just complex for the sake 100%. Of complex sometimes. Yeah. And he relearned everything and all the shapes and stuff with 2 fingers.
Yeah.
So that would be a very interesting he probably won't speak English. So I don't know if he'd be a good dinner guest.
Right, okay.
So I think it's Robert Johnson. I might be wrong. But Paolo Nutini.
Fair enough.
Who else did I say? Paul Macca and Robert Johnson. That's an eclectic mix.
Okay.
What about yourself? What's your 3? You're not going to beat that. Harry's running and Connor's just trying to keep up.
Michael Jackson.
Well, you can ask him what really happened as well. Have you just bogeyed everything again?
Listen, I'm hungover. No, right, okay. Hang on. Let me think about this. Because Michael Jackson was the joke. Because I was like, because I was going to ask him if he really did it. I was thinking also you could...
R. Kelly?
You could just... You could just pick your most hated. You could just pick your most hated acts and then poison the food. No, right, okay. No, realistically, for me, for a dinner party, I think I would have. I don't want to be too just obvious.
So it's gonna be like Jimi Hendrix and
no. I don't want to be too obvious, but like Sam Fender, man.
Yeah, like, he would be a good pint.
In the sense of, with Sam Fender though, like he just seems like just a normal guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and eat with people who are up their own backside and think they're God's gift just because they've sold tons of records or whatever.
Yeah.
I think Sam Fender would just be like having a mate round for a pint.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the Paolo things for me as well. I think he'd be a very good pint.
100%. I think dead or alive, I think Prince is a good option, man. Prince is insane on the guitar.
I was literally watching that Tom Petty live cover of While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Oh, with the solo by Prince. Oh, mate.
And I was watching that. I was like, okay, so I was watching that going, actually, it's not the most mad technical solo, but it's the expression of it. He falls backwards into the crowd and gets pushed back up while he's soloing and stuff.
Insane, man.
That's fucking cool. If you haven't seen that, Tom Petty.
Yeah.
What's the guy from ELO called? Lead singer of ELO. We are 2 musicians. We should know this.
We should. I don't know.
ELO singer. And Prince. And it's like a super group.
Phil Collins on the drum or Dave Grohl or someone
not that video.
On the...
Not the one that I'm thinking of, but it might be a different thing. I think it's from like a George Harrison tribute remembrance night.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But you haven't seen that, go watch that. That's insane.
Okay, last question.
No, you did. You've done 2.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So you said Sam Fender and Prince.
Okay, Sam Fender. That's an interesting night.
You go to Pot World for the night, yeah.
you know what? Like,
one more. Go back in time a bit.
Okay, like way back.
Doesn't have to be, but just back a bit.
I mean,
Uno mas.
I think I'd go with like I don't know, someone who maybe like died that I wish didn't die, you know, so early.
Well, there's the famous 27 Club, Amy Winehouse.
I know,
Kurt
but
Cobain,
I don't feel
Jimi
like
Hendrix, Joni Mitchell.
Kurt Cobain wouldn't be a great like
Hang, you might be a little bit like, oh, someone keep an eye on Kurt.
Yeah. Where'd you keep your guns, man?
I love Nirvana. I don't want to be like bad mouthing Kurt Cobain.
No,
but maybe not the best
Listen,
at a party
I've got his suicide note tattooed on my arm. Remember?
Oh God, yeah. Without realising it.
Yeah. You know, hardcore stuff, though, man. No, I would say actually Dave Grohl.
What to ask him if he really did it?
Oh, I'm aware he did, but like the thing is, man.
Oh no, Connor's gonna try and defend him.
I am gonna try and defend. The thing is, you don't know what was behind that story, do you? You know
what, him having a kid with another woman.
No,
it's kind of hard to disprove whether he did it or not because the evidence is.
No, I'm not saying he didn't
quite
do
apparent.
it, but I'm saying you don't know what was, you know, whether he was in a bad place with his wife. You don't know whether for years, you know, you don't know. You know, I'm not saying that justifies it.
I would have invited Dave Grohl maybe before that story.
Right, okay.
I think he becomes quite controversial after the fact because he was. It's the thing with Dave Grohl was he was put up as like
a good guy,
really sound a good guy.
Yeah.
Like they're not all like that, and in the rock and roll world and stuff. Are you getting bookings right now? Are you?
Oh no, I'm just. This is gonna. It's about that thing at the weekend that I'm going to speak about in a little bit of what I'm doing this weekend. Being inundated with questions about
tech setup for a nice big event that's happening on the World this weekend.
In fact, no, I want to do this last question. Okay. Last question, and then we're going to go to what we're doing at the weekends. And
yeah, cool.
Okay, so the last question is, what were the first signs that you were actually sort of good musically, like developing real skill? Rather than just sort of, you know, messing around, experimenting with singing and stuff.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Still waiting. I don't know. The first... for me, guitar-wise, I got so obsessed with electric guitar really early. So I started learning guitar at 11.
Yeah.
We need to do a little phones off thing at some point here. Yeah. You can do this in 5 minutes when we finish, Connor.
I'm sorry. I'm
terrible behaviour.
Just that busy with
yeah. Just turning down gigs left, right, and centre.
100% in demand. Yeah.
Can you do this gig for 80 quid, Connor? Can you do this gig for 80 quid, Connor?
Yeah.
I got so obsessed with playing guitar when I was little, and I think if you don't, it's harder to learn guitar later in life. I was lucky that I got really obsessed with it when I was like 11, 12.
Yeah, same.
I played guitar like genuinely 4 or 5 hours a day, every day after school.
Insane, isn't it?
So for me, I did like my grade 8 really early and stuff. So I don't know if that's necessarily the right kind of point for that question.
I think so. I think if you've got a grade 8, it's a good sign that you're pretty skilled.
Yeah, no, but that's like kind of jumping the gun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe the question is like, you could play the recorder a little bit better than...
However, I can guarantee that even with all your grades in the world, it doesn't matter when you get up in front of an audience. That's a different ball game. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the best, most technical person. That
you can't translate,
mean that you're going to get people excited and singing along.
Within what we do,
yeah,
I got better at guitar than I needed to be.
Yeah.
Also playing acoustic guitar, playing chords, like backing yourself as a rhythm guitarist acoustically is completely different to like lead soloing. Yeah. I'm definitely a worse technical guitarist now.
Yep.
But I'm a much better musician and performer now.
Yeah.
And those are like weird soft skills that you learn over a period of time, rather than like I can shred or I can play these solos or these scales.
I know people who are incredible musicians, technical, but they're not very good showmen. Like they're not very good frontmen. They're not very exciting to watch. They're a bit robotic. Where on the flip side, I know people who probably know like four chords, but I'd go watch them any day of the week because
they get the crowd going,
you know, and that's it, you know. So for me, in terms of when I thought, like, I never really measured anything by that stuff, you know. I guess the first time that I maybe like pulled off like a pentatonic like solo when I was like, oh my God, like, but honestly, like, nothing really technical. The first time for me was I remember a gig, and it was basically like it was like a relaunch of a bar. I was like, when I was 18, it was a relaunch of a bar, and like I'd only been gigging properly for a couple of months, but I'd started to pick up that showmanship thing. I just remember being like, oh my God, people are dancing.
Got a reaction the first time, yeah.
And it was probably the first gig that I had people up dancing, and I was like, it's the first time I really felt in control of a room.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa.
Okay, let's reframe the question. When was the first time that you got it popping off?
Yeah.
And is it that?
I reckon so. I mean, it wasn't like nothing to what it is now. Like, but in terms of
I always think, imagine being in the room of your 18-year-old self playing. And think like, it's one of those.
I'd be cringing.
Yeah. If you watch any videos of like yourself from a few years ago, you're just like,
yeah. I used to come on and be like,
hello, I'm Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor Farrell, and I'm like
I'm
a musician.
I'm gonna play some Ed Sheeran songs.
Oh no!
You're getting battered. Mine, if we're reframing it in that respect, I used to live in Newcastle, went to uni in Newcastle. Mm-hmm. Some of my like proper first like going for it gigs was in a place called Filthy McNasty's on Big Market in Newcastle.
Of course, it was
playing 12 till 2 in the morning.
Yep.
But that was like the first moments of, you know, I don't know, playing Teenage Dirtbag, and the whole place goes up for it, whatever.
Nice.
I used to play with a guy called Andy Elsender, who's a good lad. I think he still lives up in Newcastle. He was playing cajon. So this is what we were talking about with like the duo cajon thing being 100%. Where the Stomp SPD stuff comes from now. I think people
so.
are doing a lot of cajon
100%.
stuff, and it became you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
But yeah, Filthy McNasty's Big Market. I don't know if it's still open. I think it probably is.
We'll have to go up sometime.
Should we go and try and do a gig at Filthy McNasty's?
That would be unbelievable.
That would be sick.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go to Newcastle.
Let's do it.
What are you doing this weekend? We'll wrap up with our weekend itinerary.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, as you know, as my phone is buzzing 12 million times, I'm running the stage management for Mowgli food and Mowgli. Wait, hang on.
I can answer this better for him.
No, I know.
I want to just hear Connor's version of it.
I am doing something to do with Mowgli street food. I believe it's stage management.
Do you know what the event is?
Something about dogs.
It's really good that this episode comes out. I don't care
what the event is. I just care about putting on a great show. I don't care if it's on the moon. Do you know what I mean? Like, I focus on music. Anything else that goes on, whatever, it doesn't matter. I just want to put on the best show musically that I can put on.
Such a professional.
Yeah, 100%. You know.
So yeah, Mowgli Dog Show runs every year at Claremont Farm.
Yeah.
I sadly can't be part of it this year because the timings are a bit skew for me around. I've got weddings and stuff this weekend. But you're doing basically you're being the artist liaison, stage management, and playing yourself, aren't you?
Yep, 100%. I believe so. Yeah, I think that's one. I don't know.
I care so much about the show and putting on good performance. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing.
It will be fantastic.
It will be. There are multiple thousands of people who go to that event.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Well, I was thinking it was just going to be like a,
One man and his dog, yeah?
a marquee field or something. But yeah.
Don't they have like a Ferris wheel and...
Did he?
Yeah. It's a big event. I'll fill you in a little bit more afterwards, okay? What are you doing Saturday night? You've got another gig after Saturday night.
So that's Saturday and Sunday, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
asking me? I'm not involved. You've been talking to these
because I
people
haven't got
for
my
weeks.
diary in front of me. I think it's Saturday. I just go day by day, mate. I have to go day by day.
Go with the flow. Wake up and be like,
you know what I mean? I'm still recovering from Bruce Springsteen last night, so I don't know where I am. Right? I feel like I'm in Philadelphia, the streets of Philadelphia right now. Anyway, but yeah, so that's Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow night, I'm playing a really nice pub gig for MCM, which is Cal Max.
Tomorrow night or Saturday night?
Tomorrow night.
Friday night.
Friday night.
Okay.
Then Saturday, I'm doing Mowgli, and then I'm playing another gig afterwards.
Nice.
And then Sunday, I'm doing Mowgli again, and then I'm doing another gig afterwards. So it's a really busy weekend. But it has enabled me to do absolutely nothing apparently this week, except for apparently getting drunk with you on Monday, and then so many thanks.
Oh,
and,
good.
Obviously this doesn't come out till after the dog show.
Yeah,
but like genuinely, it will be unbelievable because I have spoke to quite a few of the acts. And they've got some big bands coming and whatever, and it sounds really exciting. And I think that they are.
I'll ask you how it goes after the fact.
I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to make it sound good now.
Yeah.
Because I sounded clueless a minute ago, so I'm trying to make it like.
No. You showed that you are clueless, and now you're trying to.
What I'm saying is, I'll be on, and I know I'm going to sound good. So, what I'm saying is,
we waited until 2 hours had gone past, but Connor's self-incrimination, we do need a jingle. What's Connor fucked up this week? It's been after the hour of this episode, and Connor's finally got there.
I almost
got away with it.
I almost made it the whole way through. But next week on the podcast, I guarantee I'll be like, what a show it was. Sounded incredible. And, everyone was up dancing and stuff, and there was some other acts on as well. But, but seriously, on a serious note, I am looking forward to it.
It's good to be in with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously an unbelievable brand.
Yeah,
an unbelievable brand to be working with, and I do actually know a bit more than I'm letting on. I'm just playing it up for the comedy thing.
Okay, yeah.
I think,
and making yourself look a tit in the process.
Yeah, but that's how comedy works, isn't it? But but as I say, I am really looking forward to it. Spoke to quite a few people who are going to be on. It's going to be a great lineup. And I don't know too much about the actual dog competition. Obviously, I know all the audio, the sort of musical tent side of things, but I don't know much about the rest of the festival because I've never been, but I'm excited to go.
It is good fun. It is a really good fun day out.
Yeah. Hopefully we get the weather. And I can assure you that the sound will actually be insane because I've seen the
rig they've got is sick.
Rig that they've
it's all
got,
digidesk and stuff as well.
Insane. I believe there's also a professional sound guy. I hope it's not me.
Yeah, because I don't think you could necessarily put Connor Farrell, professional sound guy, next to your name. I wouldn't believe it.
No, I'm a sound guy, but I want to.
What? Anyway, right, wrap up. I'm playing Elephant tonight, Parkgate. That's a nice gig.
Nice.
I've got an afternoon wedding Saturday.
Okay.
Playing outside a marquee. They've got a place in Ruthin in Wales.
Okay.
I'm like a marquee wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing the sort of drinks 5 till 7 sort of thing, and then they've got a band later on. I'm coming back to do OBK Saturday night, and that is my weekend. Just
nice.
the 3. So tonight, Saturday.
Yeah, 100%.
And we will come back and talk about Connor's dog show fiasco next week.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. See you later on.